Well, hello everyone. I'm Meteorologist David Guerrero. If you haven't seen me before, I am the newest meteorologist on this weather team. I had my first show on Wednesday at around 6 o'clock, but I just finished my 5:30 show just now, so I'm really excited to be part of this team. I'm going to be regularly on the weekend evening spot. I know Roxy Van Rooten was originally on that spot, but now she's going to be confined towards weekend morning. But we had a great Sunday, a great end to the weekend. It was the last day of the rodeo. We had clear skies throughout much of today. Let's check out the sky cam in the international airport. 82 degrees is the current temperature, so it's really warm there. Here's what you need to know. This is the headlines. A quiet start to March. Now, today was the official start of meteorological spring, but we've been really feeling like spring for a very long time. I moved to the San Antonio area around 2 weeks ago, and I've only been dealing with temperatures into the 80s. We also had that day where we broke the record in San Antonio, I think last Thursday, if I'm correct, where we had an official high of 94 degrees. We also had triple digits for places farther down to the south in Carrizo Springs and Cotulla on Thursday. So an extremely warm and hot winter so far, and we're not seeing much change in terms of the temperature trend for the near future. So we're going to keep up with the warmth, especially over the next 7 days. I'm forecasting 60s and 70s in 2 weeks from now. So I'll show you that with a 14-day forecast, but that may be the time where we return back to average in terms of the temperatures. Now, we're going to have a mainly dry start to the work week, mostly sunny conditions, keeping up with the same pattern that we've been dealing with so far over the past couple of days. Cloudy skies in the morning, and then clearing up in the afternoon and into the evening. But of course, everyone's asking, when are the rain chances going to come in? The rain chances should begin by Wednesday, and we should have an active period of weather throughout the rest of the week, heading into next weekend. Here's a look at the temperatures, seeing 80s right now near the metro in Bexar County, 83 in Lackland, 82 in Helotes, seeing mid-70s in Bernie, Bandera, 78 degrees, Hondo, 84. Zooming out, showing a zoom of all of south central Texas, seeing warmer temperatures down towards the south. So Pearsall, 88 degrees, Cotulla, 88, Carrizo Springs, 86 degrees, and also seeing cooler weather farther down to the southeast, closer to the coast. Beeville, 73, George West, 77, 75 in Victoria, 73 in Columbus, LaGrange, 75 degrees there. So seeing differences in temperatures compared towards our northern areas and our southern areas. Wind gusts coming in from the southeast, seeing gusts of up to 22 miles per hour right now at San Antonio International Airport. But the breezy weather is going to continue for the next couple of days, but the wind direction is a major player in the weather story because so far this weekend we've been dealing with some morning fog, and the winds are bringing in the moisture from the Gulf, so that's causing the fog. I don't think we'll see much fog tomorrow morning, thankfully, but we will be dealing with mostly cloudy conditions once again. But the radar shot shows no clouds at the current moment in our area. In terms of the allergies, we had a heavy day in terms of ash, but thankfully oak, molds, and elm were light in nature. Tonight, fantastic night for the final day of the rodeo. So we should have temperatures into the mid to upper 70s over the next couple of hours. Eventually, once we get closer to midnight, so by 11 to 12 o'clock, we should see temperatures finally returning into the upper 60s. And our morning lows will be around the mid to lower 60s. For tomorrow, keeping up with the same pattern, mostly cloudy in the morning, so right around 9 in the morning should be seeing some overcast clouds. We'll have temperatures into the upper 60s. By noon, that's when conditions will begin to clear up. We'll see temperatures into the mid-70s. Eventually, by the afternoon, we'll return back to the 80s. It says 81 degrees in San Antonio. My opinion, I'd say the temperatures are going to be higher than that. I'd say it's going to be similar to what we've been experiencing so far this weekend. High should be around the mid to upper 80s. So here's a look. I showed you the winds already. This is the sustained winds, a little lower than the wind gusts. Sustained winds ranging from 9 to 17 miles per hour. And the models show us keeping the similar pattern. Clouds once again into the morning. Here's a shot after midnight showing mostly cloudy conditions for much of the region and seeing lows around the mid-60s. Also showing a couple sprinkles for places farther to the east, closer to the coast and to Houston. Once again, we get into the afternoon, we'll see conditions clear up. Temperatures should be into the mid-80s in San Antonio, lower in the hill country. But if we go farther south, Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, Eagle Pass, this model shows 90s for tomorrow afternoon. We get into Tuesday, keeping up with the same pattern, mostly cloudy in the morning, seeing morning lows into the mid-60s, warming up to the mid-80s. I didn't put a pause point there, so here's a look at Tuesday afternoon. So this model showing upper 80s in San Antonio for Tuesday afternoon, 90s for Floresville, Pleasanton, Pearsall, Carrizo Springs, and Cotulla. But then our pattern begins to shift on Wednesday. It shows dry weather around noon, but once we get into the afternoon and evening, we should start to see some much needed rain chances. But before I get into the rain chances, I know most of y'all watching are really wanted to know about the rain, but let me talk about the temperatures before that. Keeping up with spring-like or summer-like temperatures for the near future, here's a look at the temperature trend. Notice the temperatures as compared to the average high, around 13 to 17 degrees higher than average. The warmest day for this week is expected to be on Tuesday. We should have afternoon highs around 87 degrees. Same thing for Thursday. But all in all, we'll be into the 80s, dealing with similar conditions as opposed towards the past couple of weeks. I don't think we'll see anything record-breaking like last Thursday. So the humidity is going to be pretty comfortable, thankfully. That's been the saving grace so far this winter. Of course, we've been dealing with spring and summer-like temperatures, but with a humidity at bay, we haven't been dealing with extremely high heat index values. And those are the things that you really feel, and that will the heat index values will truly get you in the summertime. When the humidity is extremely high, you see temperatures extremely warm, and it feels a lot warmer than it actually is. So thankfully, the temperatures are resembling the heat index values. So the humidity, thankfully, is comfortable. Now, here's the thing that a lot of people are really asking for. What does the rainfall outlook look, especially with the next 10 days? And it looks like we're going to have above average rainfall as compared to the average for this time of year. So this is over the next 10 days. And once again, once we get into the middle of this week, we should have a more active pattern. Roxy says, are we getting snow? There is zero chance for snow. Of course, that is a joke. But yeah, there is absolutely zero chance of snow. We left those snow chances in January, of course, when we had that stretch of winter weather chances, not only here in Texas, but for the majority of the country. So the rain chances show a 10% chance of rain starting on Tuesday. Now, I haven't mentioned any rain chance on Tuesday because I think the rain chances are going to be more like isolated sprinkles in the mid to early morning. And when I mean sprinkles, just a couple of drops of rain, maybe on your morning commute, but I don't think it's going to be anything measurable. But the real rain chances are going to be on Wednesday. We'll have a 30% chance of rain. It'll be more scattered in nature, same thing on Thursday. But then once we get on Saturday, we have a better chance of rain. I'd say Saturday will be our highest chance of widespread soaking rain that is much needed, especially with the drought. Now, the reason why we have the chances of active weather for the second half of the week is all due to an extended area of low pressure that will be parked over the Rockies and the Great Plains. Now, as you can see on the screen, the low pressure system is expected to be farther north, but once again, if it tracks farther down to the south, then our rain chances are going to increase as well. So we're really hoping that that's going to be the case. The Euro model is actually hinting on more favorable rain for the second half of the week. So here's a look at the Euro model, and it shows once again scattered rain chances Wednesday night. We get into Thursday, not much in the afternoon and evening. Oop, there we go. We zoomed way past the pause point there. Let me get back on track there. Okay, so on Friday shows a higher chance of rain, but the highest chance of widespread weather will be on Saturday and even into Sunday early morning. Now for Saturday, we have some storm chances, and I'm going to show you the graphic that shows the ingredients of storms for next weekend. But we have some storm chances for next Saturday. But in my opinion, I'd say the greatest chance of storms is actually going to be next week. So next Tuesday, the Tuesday after the next. So if I remember correctly, the Tuesday of the 9th, I'm getting my dates mixed up. So the Tuesday of the 10th, Tuesday, March 10th, we are seeing signs of a robust front moving in that could provide some storms around that time. So more details coming up on that. Here's the Euro model, and it shows the predictions of rainfall totals over the next 10 days. And for this week, we could see up to 2 inches of rain. This is, once again, what the Euro model is showing, but it's showing even higher rain chances over the next 10 days. So as I mentioned, that rain event that could happen Tuesday, March 10th, this model is forecasting that we would receive multiple inches of rain. So if we compare Sunday, it says 2 inches of rain could be possible over the stretch over the next 7 days. But once we get into Tuesday, it could add 2 inches more of rain. So if this model is correct, we could see some really high rainfall totals, very much needed rainfall totals, especially with the very bad drought that we currently have at the moment. Here's a look at the GFS model, and it's showing a similar thing, showing around 3 inches of rain over the next 10 days. Of course, the heaviest rain and the higher rainfall totals will be confined for places more towards the northeast, and the Euro model also shows that. But what's promising is that both models are in agreement that we're going to see some inches of rain. Now, here is the upper level pattern that's going to cause the rainfall chances. And as you can see a little bit of a dip in the lines. That's what we call a trough. And that trough is going to cause a system that will eventually bring us the energy needed for rain. And you can see the red there. That's what we call CAPE. So CAPE is what we call instability, basically energy for storms to develop. And it shows some red for the weekend. But once we get into Tuesday and late Monday, we'll see more spots of red in the region, meaning that I expect more storm chances for Tuesday, March 10th, as compared to next Saturday and for Sunday. But of course, we really need the rainfall. Here's the look at the updated drought monitor. Most of South Central Texas is within an extreme drought, but places near Eagle Pass, closer to I-35 and I-69 west, are within an exceptional drought. We also have more patches of exceptional drought farther down south, closer to the valley, south of Corpus Christi. So all in all, we could take any rain that we can get. But once again, this is the second worst drought since the creation of the drought monitor in 2000. The worst drought since the creation of the drought monitor was the 2011 drought that lasted 50 months. It started in 2011 and lasted until 2016. Of course, 2011 was the most intense year for drought. But of course, most people attribute the worst drought to be the 1950s drought, which was estimated to be around 80 months long. And it is attributed to be the longest and most intense drought on record here in Texas. So once again, this is a historic drought that we're dealing with so far. It's not really as intense as both of those droughts, but it is very long as compared to the one in the 2010s and the ones in the 1950s. Now we have some stuff in terms of celestial events. Last night we had the planetary parade, and then on Tuesday morning we are going to have a full lunar eclipse. Now this happens when the sun, the earth, and the moon align, with the earth being in the middle, and the moon will go into Earth's inner shadow. Now, the timing of the lunar eclipse is going to be Tuesday morning, with the maximum eclipse happening at around 5:30. But I'm not really going to hype this up because if I go back to the futurecast, unfortunately, we're going to be cloudy when we are going to see the peak lunar eclipse. So this is the futurecast showing around 5 in the morning. San Antonio, Bayard County, Hill Country are expected to be overcast, limiting the view of the moon. The best chance for places in south central Texas to see the moon will be places farther down to the south. So George West, Beeville, Victoria, maybe Cotulla, they could potentially see the lunar eclipse. But if you live in San Antonio, it's not looking good that you'll have ideal conditions for the lunar eclipse. So here's a look at the 14-day forecast. We'll have a quiet start to the work week. Tomorrow will be sunny with temperatures into the mid to lower 80s. And then we're expecting higher temperatures on Tuesday, forecasting highs in the upper 80s, 90s if you live farther south. And then for Wednesday, that's when we'll see rain chances. We're expecting a 30% chance of rain for Wednesday, 40% chance on Thursday. Friday, we'll see rain chances slim a little bit. But next Saturday, rain chances could be a little bit more widespread. We could see some isolated storms for that time. Then we get into next week. Tuesday will be the highest rain chance out of the bunch. And then Wednesday, we'll see a slim rain chance there. But then for the tail end of next week, so by March 12th, we'll see quiet weather and temperatures returning back to average. So we'll see temperatures into the lower 70s, upper 60s potentially for the Friday of March 13th. And one thing that I forgot to mention, Sunday morning, so the Sunday of March 8th, that is the beginning of daylight saving time, meaning that we're going to lose an hour of sleep. However, we'll see later sunsets. So once again, quiet starts of the work week, but an active weather pattern is going to take place once we get into the second half of the week. So that is the stream. That is everything you need to know for this Sunday evening. Once again, tomorrow Paul Morellis will be doing the stream. Yeah, this is my first stream here at Ken's 5 News, and you'll see a lot more of me in the near future. So thank you very much, and have a beautiful night.